Alright, so I'm recording this after the video. I want to give you guys a little list of what you're going to need before you do this. You're going to need the automatic transmission fluid that I'm going to show you here in a minute. You're going to need clear, I think it's like 3/4 inch inner diameter tubing. I'm not 100% sure. I had some laying around. It doesn't have an indicator on it, but you are going to need some clear tubing, probably like 5 to 6 feet of it. Empty bottles. Pliers, vice grips I'm using for some of the clamps. Jack stands and a jack. You can get away with just the jack, but I wouldn't do it. You're going to need probably 1 to 2. I just use one jack right in the center and jack stands. So that should be all the tools you need for this. Oh, I got to replace the power steering fluid on a 2003 Toyota Tundra today. I fried the shit out of it coming down a mountain in 4-wheel drive. So first thing we got to do, jack it up, get both wheels off the ground. One thing to remember if you're using any sort of jack, use jack stands. Do not leave the weight resting on your jack. It's never a good idea, especially when your jack's 40 years old. So use your jack stands. Once I get to actually bleeding the line, I'll start recording again. So here we are in the engine bay of the Tundra. This is the 4.7 liter V8. Here's your power steering reservoir here. So you're going to open it up. As you can see, mine is literally burnt. So set that there for now. You're going to need a turkey baster and whatever container your old coolant's going to go in. So the first thing you're going to want to do is literally just start sucking as much of the old stuff out as you can. Once you suck all that out, we're going to disconnect the smaller diameter line. The larger diameter line should be running straight to the power steering pump, which on this particular truck is right there. So as you can see, large diameter line, literally you can see it connect straight into the power steering pump. So you want to do the smaller one. That's the one we're going to disconnect. So an alternative to the turkey baster I just realized and didn't think about. There's actually a little clip right here, this little pronged clip. If you pry that outward with, did my phone just freeze? My phone just froze. If you pry that little clip outward with flathead, you can pull this reservoir right out. It actually slides and clips in there. So then at that point you can tip it one direction into a catching device to remove most of the fluid from that. So once again, and then you're going to be removing the smaller diameter line there. Alright, now that I have the reservoir emptied and the smaller diameter line disconnected, I actually have it over here. What you're going to need is you're going to need another random piece of hose or vacuum hose or whatever that'll fit onto that smaller diameter flange. This is going to be like an atmospheric. It's basically just going to keep the fluid from falling out of here when you're filling it up here. So just have it higher and you should be good there. So the line that we took off the reservoir, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to hook it to that long piece of hose. This is what we're going to be bleeding the old fluid out through. Clear is recommended so you can actually see when the fluid is running clear. The fluid is running clear. I'm having to use a socket to adapt to the different diameters because I didn't really go out and buy or prepare for this. This isn't recommended because the inner diameter of the socket is a big bottleneck, but it's all I have right now, so that's how I'm going to be draining it. So next step is we're actually going to put power steering fluid, well, technically automatic transmission fluid. If you notice on the cap, it says use Dextron type ATF. So Dextron automatic transmission fluid. Dextron automatic. I'm using full synthetic because I can. So now you're going to top this off to the top, and then what we're going to do is turn the wheel. So I'm going to top this off and then come back. Alright, now that you can see I'm making a fucking mess. That's topped off. Everything's in place. We've got the hose running to the catch bottle. Tires are off the ground. What we're going to do is we're going to hop in the cab. You're going to need the keys. So you're only going to want to put the key in, just turn it to accessory so that the radio comes on. Do not start the vehicle. Now, start rotating the wheel all the way to the left. If you look, you see the fluid pouring out on that hose? That's the drain hose. So that's all the way to the left. Now, go to the right. Oh, see some more moving? Go to the left once, and then the right once. And then we're gonna go see how much fluid is in the reservoir. Sorry for the beeping. All right, see? It's an old nasty fluid. All right, see how it sucks some of that up? Top that off, repeat 3 or 4 times until this coolant here is no longer the color of diarrhea. I guess I should explain. You want this color to be the red. All right, so I've cycled the wheels left and right twice now, and as you can see, it's looking red. But even as you get just right here, it's brown. So we're getting close. One thing I want to point out when you're doing this, when you're topping this off, you might not want to turn the wheels left and right each time, just go one direction. So go left, come over here and check it. Because in theory, you want to never let this run dry, because what it's going to do is it's going to suck air into the system. So the less you let this run dry, the better. It's absolutely, actually, exactly what you want to do, because it takes a while to get air out of the system once you get it in there, unless you re-bleed it like this. So turn to the left, come top it off, turn to the right, come top it off. You're going to want to go left and right a total of probably 4 times, but you'll know because this liquid will start turning a nice red. So I did that and continued doing that until the fluid was running clear for quite a while. I cycled it a couple more times than I really needed to, but I wanted to try and get all those burnt chunks out of my system. So what I did is I have it hooked back up to the original way, the smaller diameter hose back up to the reservoir. That part can be a little messy. It's always a good idea to have a pan underneath to catch all this extra shit. Once you top it, have the hoses hooked back up, top it off literally as high as you can. Make sure you put the lid on before you start turning the wheel again, because once you top this off, you're going to want to turn the wheel, and that's going to suck more into the system, and any air that got in here while you were reconnecting the hose, it's kind of in there. It'll kind of help it a little bit when you start topping this off, but you're going to want to rotate the wheels some more. But before you start rotating the wheels after reconnecting these, make sure you put the cap on. If you do not, what's going to happen is it's going to come in here, it's going to shoot out the lid, as I did, because I forgot it does that. So I have a little bit bigger mess than I even wanted again. So put the lid back on, top it off, put the lid back on, turn the wheels 2 or 3 more cycles. You'll see a dip most likely in the level. I would keep turning it. I'm going to sit here and probably turn it 10 more times and just make sure that this level isn't going to dip a lot more. Then you should be able to turn the truck on and rotate it, and everything should be good.